So if you're wondering why your sales seem to take forever to close, or people come in, you talk to them a couple times, they never call you back, they never return an email, or simply people come and go and they just feel like they're constantly kicking tires, well, that's an easy problem to identify. You don't have a sales process. Without a sales process, you don't have sales. Okay guys, I'm Jimmy with Selling Decoded, and today we're going to be talking about sales processes. What is a sales process? Do you have one? Do you need one? And what does one even look like? And that is probably the number one problem. After 30 years of selling, I've discovered every salesperson has something that they're lacking. And they all seem to have these moments where they shine in one aspect of the sale, but they fail at another. I can't tell you how many people tell me, I'm great at generating leads. I'm great at pitching. I'm great at closing. Well, they're all the same thing. They're all part of a communication. It's a communication you have with a client. And like anything else, there's a process to that communication. People use the dating world as a reference. You don't walk up on the first date and propose marriage, unless you're in Vegas. That happens. But we're not in Vegas. We're in the real world out here, and we don't walk up to a customer and immediately say, sign here. No, it's a get to know you. It's an introduction. It's a conversation, and then it's an opportunity, and then there's a question, and then there's another opportunity, and then there's sign here moment. So, these things all happen in a process, and they don't happen by accident, and they don't happen out of order. All of these things need to be checked off for someone to feel like they are comfortable signing a contract with you and handing you money. So if you think that, I just really am a people person, I can sit down and I can talk to anybody. Well, I got news for you. Sales is not about talking. Communication is a two-way street. It generally should be 50-50, 60-40 on the conversation side. If you're really a sales master, it could be 40-60, where you're talking 40% of the time and let them talk 60% of the time. When you have a system and a process in place, you don't need to talk as much. I have to ask this at this point. I have to listen at this point. I have to let them kind of work this out on their own and then just jump in from time to time to help guide them into the right direction. It's about laying a breadcrumb trail down so that people can find their path home, okay? And that's a process. That isn't just throwing bread out like you're feeding pigeons. You're going to have to lay down certain bits of communication trails so that people can follow along, because they have to answer certain things like, hi, my name is, hi, I'm looking for this. Our needs our home is this size. We live here. And through those little moments, that's where you pick up the opportunity for your small talk to say, oh, I used to live over there, or my mother lives over there, or I grew up the next block over, or my kids went to the same school as that district has. Whatever it is, the communication, your talking skills, your people skills are not woven in just as a blanket statement to make small talk until someone gets tired and either wants to go home or buys out of mercy. No, it's understanding that when someone walks in the door, they want to be greeted. They want you to ask their name. They want you to remember their name. That's one pet peeve I have, is when a salesperson asks someone their name and that person tells them their name, and then 5 minutes in the conversation, the salesperson goes, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Just be earnest with everything you do. Hi, what's your name? My name is Jan. Hi, Jan, I'm Jimmy. I'm here to help you. What can I do for you? And if it has to be a crutch the first couple times, repeat their name in the initial conversation so you retain it. Okay, but that's a process. That process of retaining their name is a process, and that's part of the process. And if you cannot remember someone's name, if that's you, the first thing in the process I'm going to teach you is how to remember somebody's name. Hi, Jan. My name is Jim. How can I help you? Hey, Jan, where do you live again? Hey, Jan, you mind real quick if I get your email and your phone number so I don't forget later on? Hey, Jan, where do you work? Just repeat the name until you don't forget it. And if you have to write it down and glance at it, write it down and glance at it. That's okay. But remember their name. That is the first thing someone's going to trust you with, is their identity. So that's step one in the process. Then from there, it's identifying the problem. You want to immediately get the core of what they need. What is wrong that they're looking for you to help them solve it? Again, we talk about customer service. That is how we approach all of our sales, is from a customer service mindset. So what that customer wants is you to remember their name and listen to their problem. You don't have to go deep into that problem at first, but you need to get the core problem. I got a flat tire. I'm looking for tires. That's great. Okay, what kind of vehicle do you have? A Ford truck. Okay, great. Now, how'd you get the flat? Oh, well, I'm in construction, and I pulled up to a job site, picked up a nail. Okay, great. Now we know what they do. We know a little bit about them. We know their name. We know they're in construction. What kind of construction are you in? That's where the small talk comes in while you're researching a little bit about their vehicle to get a selection of tires. But it isn't about beating them to death with words. It's about getting to know them and building that rapport while you're analyzing their problem and trying to pair a solution. So again, it's a process. You make the introduction, you remember their name, you get the basic information for what they're looking for, and then from that little bit, that's where you develop your small talk and you start working on solving their problem. So while you're solving their problem, you're working in some of that rapport, you're building that communication back and forth. And then you start to present solutions to the problem. You're going to get answers, you're going to get questions, you're going to get more information back and forth. But again, there's a process to working through that stage of the sale. And then at the end, you need to recognize when that process is over and it's time to close the sale, to ask for the contract, put your hand out, collect the check, whatever it is. You have to identify each of those steps. If you do not plan to close that sale and how you're going to close that sale, you are never going to close that sale. It is so important to understand a basic structure. If it's a 1, 2, 3 that works for you, that's your process. If it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your process. But I promise you, as you start to watch this channel more and you start to learn more of the 30 years of sales experience and training that I am going to be sharing with you every time, you're going to see that there's a lot of little steps within those processes. You may have step 1, but there might be 5 additional steps that you never knew existed that might help you, one, get people to come back. Because if you're one of those that come in, people spend 5 minutes and they leave and you never see them again, your process is broken at that first 5 minutes, and that's what we have to figure out. If you do all these pitches and then people leave and never come back or don't return your call, your problem is somewhere in those processes, in that pitch or in that middle section of the overall process. And if you get everybody pitched happy and you're like, they're coming back to buy next week and they never show up, you don't know how to close people. We're going to help you. We're going to show you how to do that too. But all of this comes from a process. So we have to establish a basic process that we're going to follow so we can start to identify at what point is something broken. And once we can identify where it's broken, we can dive deep and figure out, is it something smaller in the process prior to that breaks it? Or are we not simply realizing we need to help, or are we not realizing that we've completed step 1 and we're not successfully or efficiently moving people into step 2 of your sales process? But if you think I'm a great communicator and I got great people skills is going to get you through a successful sales career, you're wrong. You may make enough to get by. You may feel good about yourself, but trust me, you are leaving thousands and thousands of dollars in commissions on the table if you do not have a process, or you haven't analyzed your process. Maybe you do have a process and it's working for you, but you've wondered, man, I'd really like to make an extra $40,000 next year. Well, that's going to come from analyzing your process. Again, all of it stems from two things. Our first step, customer mindset, not sales mindset, customer service mindset, okay? That's our first discipline we're going to apply. Our second is having a process. So if you have a process and you want to make more money, we're going to show you how to break that process down, analyze it, and get better at what you're not good at, or what you think you're good at, showing you how you need to be good at all of it and how to do that. And then from there, we're going to just dive into some granular topics that are going to really show you some really interesting things in terms of human interaction and communication skills that are going to help you just be a better customer service salesperson, a customer-minded salesperson. There's so many things that we fall into ruts. We have catchphrases. We have what we think are our closing statements, or how we lock somebody down, or how we know we've got somebody on the right product. Well, you may think that's right, but you actually may be costing yourself money or losing sales because you've just gotten into a routine of making mediocre sales decisions or all-out mistakes. So again, this process is going to fix that. Customer service mindset, process. So we're going to start next week by laying out a basic process for you to follow. And that process is going to grow as your toolkit from this channel grows. As we start to share more and more with you, your simple process is going to get a little deeper and a little deeper, so you can incrementally, systematically better your process, better your sales, and close more sales and earn more commissions. So that's what we're here to do. Once again, process is important. That's what today I want you to walk away from. I want you to think about your sales process you have now. Write it down, what you think it is. Shoot me a message. I'd love to look at it and help you figure out what I see and what maybe I can share from someone else in your industry, or just in general that might help you. I'll make a video for it. We'll talk about it. We'll see what we can do to help you. But the goal here is to give you 30 years of sales knowledge that went from $50 products to 8-figure products. And I love it. I love helping people. I'm going to help you help people. And that just makes me really excited to continue to do this. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you're on a podcast network, go on there, like, subscribe to that as well. Leave me a review. Tell me how I'm doing. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Jimmy. This is Selling Decoded. So get out there, make some sales. I'm going to sit here and keep decoding them for you.